Alright, let's look at cloud computing and what is entailed in cloud computing. For example, if you have this preamble, A Incorporation is a local startup that has been asked by the city to monitor and record near misses and accidents between cars, cyclists, and pedestrians 24 hours per day, 7 days per week, 35 days per year. A is planning to deploy video cameras and dedicated computing at each busy intersection in the city. A plans to capture video at a sustained frame grab rate of 20 frames per second, 24 hours per day. They will provide privacy to drivers, cyclists, and pedestrians by denaturing the video at the intersection before it is stored. Since the bandwidth from the intersection to the cloud is limited, A plans to process the streams of data at the intersection to identify near misses and accidents. They will then send the data for just the interesting cases to the cloud for storage and potential further analysis. We know that cloud computing offers various benefits and features to users. For each benefit listed below, indicate whether you believe it will be important for A and state why. A. VM elasticity. So you need to understand what VM elasticity is. No upfront cost, reduced IT maintenance, and then A has grown and gone international, soon to cover 75% of the world's big cities. Should they build their own private cloud? Explain why. Okay, number 2, a MapReduce job consists of many tasks that are distributed among task trackers for execution. Sometimes, even when the machines and the tasks are identical, a few of the tasks will take much longer to complete than the others, but a map or a reduced stage cannot complete until its constituent tasks all complete. Describe a technique used by both Google's MapReduce and Hadoop MapReduce to mitigate against this problem. Explain why it is safe and effective. So this particular question, you have to know what MapReduce is. MapReduce is a framework, so you have to know what it does. Map and reduce, what is it entail. Now, Greg believes para-virtualization generally outperforms full hardware level virtualization. What is the primary advantage of full hardware virtualization over para-virtualization? Explain your answer. You have to just understand what para-virtualization is all about. Now, AWS or a similar cloud service, imagine running an application that could have access to Hadoop distributed file system, an elastic block service, and a simple storage service. Which of the 3 storage options would you expect to be the easiest for a traditional enterprise? Any normal company, traditional enterprise application to be modified to use, and why? So in our sample question session, we have, at your internship, assuming you've gone for an internship, an older programmer called Camel comments that cloud computing was invented because of special shopping days like Cyber Monday in the US, during which Amazon does over 3 billion in online sales, or Single Sunday in China, during which Alibaba does over 40 billion in online sales. Give one reason why this might be false. 2, give one reason why this might be true, and explain your answer. So these are typical questions you can have in cloud computing. We also have, what is the benefit of service automation management in cloud computing? Which cloud computing feature helps optimize availability by maintaining configurations and managing changes to resources? What are the infrastructure as a service layer? So you need to know the IaaS, PaaS, SaaS, software as a service, platform as a service, infrastructure as a service. You have to understand them and how they work. What is the most popular use case for public cloud computing today? Which of these companies specialize in cloud computing management tools and services? Which is the name of the organization helping to foster security standards for cloud computing. All right, let's look at also some selected cases as far as cloud computing is concerned, like what is cloud computing, what is automatic computing, what is SPI. The acronym SPI stands for Major Services Provided Through the Cloud. So you need to know what it's about. What is virtualization, what is thin client, what is storage network, what is CSA, what is Google App Engine. All those are petty questions that can pop up in the cloud and areas you should focus on as far as cloud computing is. Explain the security concerns of cloud computing, discuss the regulatory issues of cloud computing and government policies. Now you have a scenario here. It is very long. I'll send you the document to read and then you answer. But the questions are: buy 3 different servers at roughly $3, $500 or plus. Okay, this question is related to a company that wants to decide whether its programmers should use online systems or should buy their resources. So and the 2 scenarios are given that what is likely to be the cost if they were to use the online scenario, what is likely to be the cost if they were to use the cloud model. This brings us to the end of cloud computing questions. Thank you very much. Mobile. Alright, so I just want to take you through some past questions in ICT, then so that you know what are some of the things to expect. Question number 1 says, Ms. Aduma wishes to apply for a job which requires her to submit her documents online. She needs to log into her Gmail account and submit a portable document format document. She was told to also upload a screenshot of her application letter typed in Microsoft Word by a Google form. So basically, this is a lady who wants to apply for a job. What does she need to do? She just needs to follow some few steps and then she is done. Number 1, she has to open the Gmail page. She has to enter her username and password. When she logs in successfully, she has to type the letter in Microsoft Word on her machine. When she finishes, she has to go to the screenshot button on Microsoft Word, take the screenshot that she has been told to take, and you must know how to take a screenshot, and then go to File and Save. Enter the appropriate name for the file. When you are saving, then you select PDF from the drop down as you are saving, and then it will become a PDF document. You visit the company's site and then you upload it there. Another question that you could be asked is, if she is not able to log in successfully, what should she do? She should, as far as Google is concerned, if you're unable to log in successfully, you can click the Forgot Your Password button and then you follow the prompt and you log in. Another thing you can do is to check your internet connection, check your username and password to be sure whether it is correct. So these are the 3 likely problems that may happen. Our second question says, Alvin is an accountant for Nightingale College of Health. He wishes to make a future projection for the school's finance team. What software should he use? And what's the difference between Microsoft Word, Excel, PowerPoint? And how does it find sum? How does it find average? How does it find minimum and maximum? And how does he send that document to him? What is the file format? Anytime we talk about file format, we are looking at the extensions. You can use the extensions to tell the file format, that is .pdf and many other alternatives. So for Microsoft Excel, what he needs to do basically is to go to the on the main tab, select insert. Under the, I told you anything you want to insert, anything you think about adding which is not part, you go to the insert tab and check, and then she will have to go to under check. That is if you are dealing with bar graphs and charts. Then she has to select the data manually, update the chart with the relevant data, and then click the chart and it will work. Now, there are many ways to enter the formula. You can enter it manually, or you can enter it using the equal to sign. You should know how to use the equal to sign to give you the function that you need when you are working. The file format for Excel, you can have .xlsx or .xls. You can have PDF format. So in answering which software should an accountant use, most likely he's likely to use Microsoft Excel. He may also use Tally. There are other alternatives there, but this one is saying from the Microsoft Office suite. What are the two ways he can use and find the sum function, which we have stated primarily? The equal to sign, or you can enter it manually, is allowed. Okay, another important question we need to also look at is Ms. Jifa wishes to apply for a job which requires her to submit a document online. So this one is also not too different from the first one about Aduma. What should she do to select screenshot? What should she do to log in successfully? How is the file going to be? And the file format, when you take a screenshot and you put it in Microsoft Excel or Microsoft Word, it is still in Microsoft Word, so you should know that nothing has really changed. Then right now we have been told to design a PowerPoint presentation. PowerPoint presentations are simple to design. Number one, you need your title slide. The title slide is a small box, with a small box with another sub-heading box. Then that's the title slide. Then the content slide is a header box, small at the top, and then the content, the body. You can vary those ones. You can have blank, you can have side by side. They are all types of slides. So you just need to do that diagram nicely, put your content and the headings inside nicely, and then you are done designing. And try as much as possible to draw the boxes how it's supposed to be, the various boxes in the order in which they should be. Don't leave out editing, because some people just write the content. They know we said design. So make sure that the design is well done. Why will you use Excel? You will use Excel because it is good for calculations. Why will you use Microsoft Word? It is a very good platform for detailed documentation. Why will you use PowerPoint? If you use PowerPoint when you are going to make a presentation, when you are going to put out an idea to people, you just use PowerPoint for that purpose. Now let's look at other relevant questions that may also help. So the ideas are different. Screen clipping is part of screenshot, so you should have that at the back of your mind. How do you assess? What are the specifications you should consider when you are going to buy a new machine, and why will you choose a brand new machine or buy a slightly used machine? Now, specification, you have to look at the processor speed and the processor type and the graphics as well. You have to look at the RAM size, you have to look at the hard drive size, you have to look at the screen size, that's the monitor, or if you're not buying a monitor, the laptop, the screen size. Then you have to look at the battery life. Okay, so for the processor, the question said this person is going to do graphic design. A minimum of i5 is okay, or AMD 12, depending on the type of processor or those in that range. RAM size of 8, about 500 gig. The size should be about 15, but if you take 30 and you feel it's comfortable for you, that's fine, but 15 and above is okay. Battery life should be about 2 hours. Okay, what are the units of measurement in terms of the speed? We are looking at hertz or gigahertz. For the RAM size, we are looking at gigabyte. That's what I say 8 gig is 8 gigabyte. For the hard drive size, we are looking at gigabyte, 500 gig. For the screen size, it's in inches. Some people measure in meters as well, so you can decide to use that. You can also look, the battery life is in percentages. You just need to look at the screen. Why would somebody prefer a slightly used machine? Because of cost, because of similar specifications and functions. If it meets your minimum requirements, that is similar specification and functionality, and more important than the type. So if you focus on this, it is ideal to get slightly used. If they have approximately equal lifespan, maybe a brand new machine will, when you do your calculation, maybe 10 years. When you do your calculation for a slightly used machine, maybe 8 years, then you may decide to go for the cheaper one. So let's look at some few questions we can ask ourselves as far as computer systems or IT is concerned. Now, what is the difference between a mainframe and a supercomputer? A supercomputer is much larger than a mainframe. Supercomputers are much smaller than mainframe computers. Supercomputers are focused to execute few programs as fast as possible. Now, another question is, ASCII and EBCDIC are the popular character coding system. What does EBCDIC stand for, and what does ASCII stand for? EBCDIC, Extended Binary Coded Decimal Interchange Code. Okay, so that is the EBCDIC that I'm talking about. So these are some of the few questions you can have at the back of your mind when you are dealing with operating systems. Now let's look at this question. What type of network is most likely to be a shared common resource in a computer network? We have our options here. We have A, printers, B, speakers, C, floppy disk, D is keyboard. So in a typical network, what are we likely to share amongst people? That is the question we are asking. And in a good office, you realize that usually printers are shared amongst people. So our answer is printer. All right. So now let's look at other questions that you can be asked. We are saying that Ransford wishes to move data from one destination to another. He wishes to experiment with serial and parallel port. Outline the difference between Intel, Celeron, and Pentium family of processors. Where is heatsink usually located? What is it used? What will happen if it is not in a system? Clifford's machine runs slow. He suspects his processor has issues. He wishes to upgrade the processor. Why does he have to do so? What are the causes of overheating of microprocessors? A computer screen has no display. What is the problem? So I'm just going to read some of these questions so that you have a fair idea. Celeron, according to, is built for gaming computers, okay? Many other things, but just study around these things. These are just sample questions you should work with and deal with. So let's look at some few other objective questions. UNIVAC is, what is UNIVAC? What is, 1 stands for what? MICR stands for what? EBCDIC I've asked already. Which of the following is part of the central processing unit? So you have to know the components of the central processing unit. These are petty little questions you have to be familiar with. Which of the following is a combination of hardware and software that facilitate the sharing of information between computing devices? Coded entries which are used to gain access to a computer system are called passwords. What are they called? Which of the following statements is true? Microcomputers work faster than mini computers. Microcomputers work faster than mini computers. The opposite. Speed of both the computer is the same. The speed of both cannot be compared with advanced ones. Okay, so these are some few likely questions you should have. What is a light pen? What is a VGA? What does it stand for? What is it used for? You should just know these ones at the back of your head. The computer is derived from A, Latin word, B, German word, C, French word, D, Arabic word. You should know these ones. What does the ALU stand for? What is the ALU all about? The capacity of 3.5-inch floppy disk is, you should know a bit. Some of these technologies are faded out of the system, but just so you have history at the back of your mind. What is a compact disk used for? What type of computers are client computers? Questions like that. When a file is saved for the first time, A, a copy is automatically printed. B, it must be given a name to identify it. C, it does not need a name. It only needs a name if it is not going to be printed. All right. Office lands which are scattered geographically on large scale can be connected by the use of a corporate A, CAN, B, LAN, D, DAN, C, WA. Write a program. We are looking at mobile programming. Write a program to display welcome to Infotech class in Android. This is simple. I will go through the nitty-gritties of this one. Now, give the use of portable Wi-Fi hotspot. What is a fragment? Describe the mobile application development framework. Difference between onCreate and onStart. Number 3, define Android application architecture. Number 4, when is the best time to kill a foreground activity? What is a visible activity? Explain sticky intent. Explain an action. This is mobile. All right, so we have a class is a base class for service that handles asynchronous requests. A, intent service. B, start service, stop service. D, none of the above. In Java, you cannot directly cast an array from one type to another. True or false? To perform repeated tasks, we use the class. We use the class A, timer. B, post. C, intent service. D, on bind. Now, which of the following is the most resource-hungry part of dealing with activities on Android? A, closing an app. B, suspending an app. C, opening a new app. Restoring the most recent app. A view group that aligns all children in a single direction vertically or horizontally is an A, linear layout. B, relative layout. C, table layout. D, absolute layout. What activity method you use to retrieve a reference to an Android view by using the ID attribute of a resource XML? A, find view by reference function. B, find view by ID function. C, retrieve resource by ID. D, find view by ID. So, and B and D, the argument is int ID and string ID for B and D respectively. All right. Another important thing to notice: what was the first phone released that ran the Android OS? A, Google G Phone. B, T-Mobile GI. C, Motorola Droid. D, HTC Hero. Android support which features? A, multitasking. B, Bluetooth. C, video calling. D, all of the above. Which of the following dialog boxes are supported by Android? 1, alert dialog. 2, progress dialog. D, date picker dialog. 4, time picker dialog. Is it A, 1 and 2, B, 3 and 4, C, all of the above, D, none of these? So you make your answer clear. I just want to touch on the programming aspect. When you start programming, please take note of the things that are involved. You have to, you know that the Android typically start from the package name, the import, the various things you import, the class, and then everything continues in the class. That is how it should be. So don't forget this. As for the questions on portable Wi-Fi and the rest, they are simple to do. What is augmented reality? It's a question you can be asked. What is augmented reality? What is entailed in augmented reality? You should know what to say. Which of the following mobile platforms support hundreds of thousands of third-party applications? A, iPhone. B, Symbian. C, Windows mobile phone. None of the above. So you should have this information at the back of your mind. Which framework is used to deliver event to custom object? Which is used to develop to a content object. Now, is mobile application development important or not important? Why is mobile application development important? You need to have simple answers to this simple question. What is mobile app development? Where is mobile application development used for? And what platforms support mobile application development? What is a mobile application development platform? Yeah, we've spoken about that. Other questions we can look at is the methods to invoke when an activity is started. What is mapping? Very, very important. Then you can also look at what will display if you execute certain commands like system.out.print. You should know what provides internet access at any level you wish, for raw Java socket all the way up to a built-in WebKit based web browser widget. Which elements should you use in addition to tab host and tab widget in order to create tabbed portion of a view? Other questions you can look at: explain the Android life cycle. Very, very important. Where does it start from? On create, on start, on stop. How many sizes are supported by Android? And many other simple questions like that you can focus on. What is GCM in Android? Is it Google Message Pack, Google Count Message, Google Cloud Message? None of the above. You should know what to give and what to say. Alright, what is the difference between on create and on start? Define the Android application architecture. What is a fragment? Explain sticky intent. Differentiate activities from services. Which terms are important in Android programming? When it comes to your project, you cannot do mobile application development without adding the project. When it comes to the project, what you have to focus on is you follow the links and then you come up with softwares and applications that can be very helpful in accessing important information. Thank you.